Hello, my name is Time, and today I wanted to teach everyone how to do one of the more important tricks in the Psychonauts 2 speedrun, and that is lev hopping. So, what is a lev hop, or a levitation hop, would be the full name. Levitation hop is what happens when you roll like this, and then you press jump and levitation on the exact same frame. Um, it is that precise. It has to be the exact same time. Um, so to demonstrate it, what I'll do is I'll just change my bindings so that we put jump and levitation on the same frame. Let's just put both of them on L2 for now. So I can show it off. So all you're doing is you're rolling, and then you're pressing, well, L2 for me right now. And that's a lev hop. There's a lot of speed, there's a lot of distance. It's a really great way of moving around, especially before you have the option of surfing. And it's pretty important for a lot of things in the run. But what we just did has a lot of problems. So right now I just bound jump and levitation to the same button, but now I don't have a normal jump. I can't, or a normal levitation for that matter. If I try and jump out of levitation, I fall down, and there is kind of a way to double jump out of this, but you can't just like press double jump, and it's really inconvenient to have levitation and jump bound to the same button like this. So let's take that off. And you may be thinking, okay, well, you just did a little binding trick to do it, but you could do it in real time. And the answer is yes. It's been done. It's really precise. The input is really precise. So here's the thing. Like, that's not a lev hop. It's pretty obvious when you've seen it a decent amount of time what the speed looks like and what the distance looks like. But this is what the inputs would look like if you were trying to do it. I know people who have gotten it manually, but I've never gotten it manually. I'm playing at 60 FPS. Even at 30 FPS, I've never gotten this. So, yeah, that's not really a great option. Instead, what we do in runs is we do a little binding trick. You see, I'm playing on PC, and on PC, we have two different controllers. We have a normal controller we can play around on, and we also have a keyboard. Really, there we go, keyboard. So I want to show you my bindings. So on keyboard, you can see that I have jump bound to left arrow key, and I have psi power 4, which is the one levitation is on, also on left arrow key. And you'll notice that I have tumble or dodge on down arrow key. So if we go back in game, to lev hop, all we need to do is hold a direction on the left stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my right hand to the keyboard and keep my left hand on the controller. I'm going to hold a direction with the control stick, and I'm going to press down arrow and left arrow in quick succession. So it looks like that, and it's lev hop. And you can do that without sacrificing your normal jump, and all you have to do is switch from controller to keyboard, which is annoying, can waste like a second or two depending on how good you are at. It's definitely not ideal, but it is what it is. It's definitely better than trying to do it the other way. Okay, so that's the control binding, the main control binding that we use in a speedrun. I want to show you though, because there's some other things I have on controller. So I also have attack here bound to up arrow, because there's a few times you would want to use attack. If you wanted to surf out of a lev hop, then you would want an attack button. Also, if you wanted to slam cancel out of a level hop, you would also want an attack button, so that's a good thing. I also have a shift for interact, just in case I need it. I also have Psy Power 2, which is what Psy Blast is on. It's R1 for me. That's also bound to the controller in case I don't want it. That just makes it potentially easier to like play the game actively with this weird like dual controller keyboard setup. There's other things you could potentially put on. You could put on all the other Psy powers if you wanted onto your controller if you wanted to. You could put most things closer to where your hand is. Some things that you can't change for some reason. You can't change journal button. You can't change the pause button. I don't know why you can't rebind them. Also, you can't rebind the button that skips cutscenes. It's always space, or I think left mouse works also, but you wouldn't be near the mouse. So an option, instead of using the arrow keys like I'm using, you could map the buttons to letter keys that would be closer to spacebar, and then you could potentially play the game with both controller and keyboard, and whenever you hit a cutscene you could just skip with space. I don't do that, and most runners don't do that. I don't know anyone who does that, because it's really hard to hit specific letter keys quickly in a run. Because what you're doing is you're going from controller to keyboard, back to controller, back to keyboard, and you want to be able to hit the exact keys you need very quickly. And the arrow keys are nice because they have a specific shape on the keyboard, and you can feel where they are. You don't have to look to see what you're doing, which speeds it up a lot. So I think most people use the arrow keys, and I think it's the best way. And if you need to skip a cutscene, just go back to controller. The other thing I want to show you is that I have jump, as you can see, on controller bound to left bumper, or L1 for me. That's obviously it's not usual. I mean, you probably played the game where jump was on the equivalent of the X button. I think it's A on Xbox. And that's probably what you're used to. And so seeing that's maybe a little bit alarming to you. I'm the only one currently that does that, but I think that's the best way to play the game. The reason is because in this setup where you have one hand on keyboard, one hand on controller, you can have most things on controller, like the face buttons, you can have them on controller, so you don't have to worry about it. But there's two buttons that you can't have on your keyboard, and that's jump and levitation, because, well, they're bound to the same button, so they're going to do the same button. So what I thought and what I came up with was, well, my left hand's on the controller. I can access the analog stick, and I can access the left trigger, so I can levitate while in this like dual controller keyboard state. But what if I use the left bumper, which isn't really used for anything? It's used for like pyrokinesis mostly, and I switched it to jump, so that now I can jump around like normal, levitation, jump, do lots of ordinary movement stuff, and then pull out a lev hop whenever I need to. So yeah, the other advantage to this is related to something I'll show right now. So there's another aspect to the left hop that's really, really important, and it's the fact that you can actually double jump out of a lev hop. You can't double jump out of a normal levitation jump because it just kills your double jump, but you can out of a double. So let me show you. You can double jump out of a lev hop. It's really fast and you go really far. So how I'm doing this is I am lev hopping, and then when I'm in the air I am pressing the down arrow key to cancel my levitation, and then after that I'm jumping. So that's all you need to do to double jump. So that's easy for me to do because I have jump bound to left trigger, or left bumper rather. But if you don't have that set up like that, which you don't have to, then all you have to do to lev hop double jump is press your dodge button and your lev/jump button at the same time. So press down arrow and left arrow key at the same time. So lev hop, and then press them both at the same time. There's some subtleties to this. This input can drop if you're so you have to press the down arrow key before the left arrow key, but it has to be really close together, because if it's not, you'll see you'll like glide and lose all your speed, and it's no good. And if you do one before the other, then there's nothing, like it doesn't do anything. So, and also sometimes you can get it where if you do the double jump, you can't like glide right away. I'm not really sure why. That might be because you're holding a button for too long. It doesn't come up that much anymore, but sometimes it still happens. So that's some reasons why this input where you're pressing both these buttons at the same time, down arrow and left arrow key, is not super great, but it's not terrible. Like, that's definitely something you can do. That's definitely a thing that most people do, and you can practice it and get used to it. Me personally, I like not having to time it ever. And you have to do this double jump in. This is probably the best way to gain. It's probably the best way to gain both height and distance in the game. You can side hop. Sorry, you can side hop, and that gives you a lot of distance, but it's not as fast as a left hop. So, yeah. And obviously, you can do things like you can dive out of it, or you could slam cancel out of it, things like that. The other thing I wanted to touch on within the mechanics, there's another thing. Well, actually, let me talk about something else first. So there are some places, especially if you're not doing a lot of prop flying, there's a bunch of places where you need to get a lev hop out with a tiny amount of room. So you might have to like get a sliver of land. And the thing about a lev hop is that you need to be moving with the control stick to get it to work, right? You can't dodge in place. You need to be holding control stick angle to dodge. So you have to end up, what you have to end up doing is you have to end up flicking the control stick, then dodging, then left slash jumping within really quick succession. So let's see. Yeah, that I had a little bit of room. Like there are some places where we've left hop before where it's really tight. Like there's really small room, and so yeah, in those times it's generally a better practice to air being too early and end up doing that. So that's what happens when you don't dodge. If you don't dodge, then you'll just do that, which will put you right, basically not move you, which is way better than being late and falling off the whatever you're standing on, and then not being able to, like if I was too late here, yeah, I just fall and I wouldn't be able to get back up. So it's better to be too early in those situations. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that is how you transition from lev hopping to surfing. So if you have a Pouncy and you want to surf out of a lev hop, you can't just lev hop and then hold the attack and jump buttons, because if you do that, you'll see you just fall to the ground and lose all your speed. It's pretty bad. If you wanted to do that, what you have to do is you have to press attack, which is bound to up arrow for me, very soon after you lev hop. So it's like down arrow key, left arrow key, or up arrow key, and then you can do it. That's harder than it probably needs to be. There's nowhere where you really need to do that. Better thing to do probably is if you lev hop, roll for a bit, and then start surfing, you maintain all your momentum. You can't just do it immediately, because then you lose your speed like that. But if you roll for a bit after you lev hop, you can maintain a surf and not lose any of your speed. So that's the best way. If you don't have Pouncy, if you don't have surfing, then the best movement with lev hop is to lev hop, double jump, and then lev hop, double jump again when you land. You could also alternatively lev hop, roll, cancel, lev hop, roll, cancel, or you could lev hop, cancel. I think this is slower, but you could lev hop cancel like that. I think that's the fastest way to do it if you don't have surfing. Okay, so that was pretty much everything. Lev hopping is very important for a lot of places. It's less important with prop flying, but if you're not prop flying, it's very important for a lot of tricks. It's still pretty important in a lot of places in the run. And I also wanted to show off a few other things with this keyboard layout. So with lev and jump bound to the same button, there's actually a few other things you can do. So there's this weird thing with ledges here. So you can do this weird ledge jump. So if you climb the ledge and then move the control stick away from the ledge and jump. So left jump, right jump. Oh, let me get it. You can do this weird ledge jump thing. And we do that a little bit in Lobato's Labyrinth in the beginning of the game. But there's nowhere else where it's really useful. But if you do that same input, so what I'm doing is, if you do that same input with lev and jump bound to the same button, so left stick, press left arrow, and then immediately hold right left arrow, then you get, oh, let me see, let me hope I can get it. That, which I don't really have a name for. I guess you could call it like a lev hop ledge jump, but you get this for momentum and you skip the ledge jump or the ledge climbing animation, and you get some more momentum. So, and you get this insane amount of height. There's nowhere there's nowhere that's really useful in the run. There's a few places where it's probably faster, but it's difficult to set up. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to show off is that if you, on the ladder here, you hold on to the ladder, you start moving up the ladder, and then you press dodge, aka tumble, and lev and jump at the same time. So I'm pressing left arrow key and down arrow key at the same time. You get that. It's a weird little ledge climb, and it's faster because you can do it sooner. Oh my god, I'm terrible. Yeah, you can do this way sooner than you can do a normal ledge jump, so it's ever so slightly faster to do that over just jumping up the ladder normally. Yeah, so that's ledge jumping, and that's everything regarding our weird keyboard binding. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy lev hopping around the universe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.